Hello everyone, I am Baltmatrix, and today we are taking a look at the last set of Super 10 figures that I purchased over at SirToys.com, and that is the DRAGONIUS set. We have Infernicus here on the left and Siberius here on the right. Yes, those names are a little on the nose. They are a set that comes together and they merge. They combine. That's right, we got two dragons. They combine into a super dragon, and then that super dragon transforms into a giant robot. Who'da thunk it? The molding and paint on both of these figures is quite good. The coloring works incredibly well, and the overall aesthetic for both of them is excellent. Though they do have a couple of minor issues in dragon mode. Nothing major, just they kind of lack posability. Both of the figures pose exactly the same. Their heads can move a little bit up and down. Each figure has one leg that comes off. That's for the transformation. The front legs do have posability and movement for the transformations. And then the heads move up and down, mouths open and close, and they can sort of move side to side, but that's more for the transformations as well. I have a real problem with my Infernicus where the front leg does not like to stay attached. It is supposed to come off. That is supposed to happen. It just doesn't stay on very well. The rest of the posability, hind legs, forget it. Just forget about posing the hind legs. The tails, if you think they look like they are supposed to detach and become weapons, you're correct. And then the wings do pose. They can go all the way out. They have one click up, and then they have another click where they're combined together, and the wings do move down. But as soon as you move the wings, they have a tendency to come unpegged. They're not on there super tight, but they get the aesthetic down of a dragon. So we'll put Infernicus off to the side and take a look at Siberius. And Siberius, I think, is my favorite of the two in terms of the blue and the silver. I think it just looks really, really good. I'm not saying that Infernicus looks bad in any stretch or by any stretch of the imagination. I just prefer the blue. But Infernicus is a more traditional red dragon. All right, so how do we combine these two? Well, to start off, we got to rip some pieces off. Rip the front paw off, straighten it out, and just straighten it out like that, and do that for both figures. Then grab the wings, snap them together, pull them off, and then grab the tail and yank it off. So then we're left with a three-legged dragon thing. And do the same thing for Siberius. Front leg, wings, and tail. And then we start folding and twisting things. Now that we've got all those bits off, come to the rear legs and fold them back and smush them together, and then take the entire front section. Then come to the front, slide the one leg out, turn the entire section to the side. Then with the leg pointing back, turn it on its hip, and just get it such that it looks like the front half of the dragon is going to be standing up like this. And then do the same for Siberius. Take the legs, smush them together, take the head, turn it, grab the leg, pose it, and then sandwich these two dragon boys together. Click there, click in the middle, click in the back, and stand up our dragon. Now, we have to add some other bits. Take the two tails, and there are connector bits for each of the tails, and I like to just fold them apart, and then smush them together, smush the middle together, smush the ends together, and there we go. And then two pegs, two peg holes, and jam it right there, right up there where the sun don't shine. Next, on the bottom of the dragons, there's a peg there, and there are pegs there. Those will get pegged into by the legs that we pulled off before. We combine them, snap them together, and then peg holes, and they will just fit right on top, or peg right into the pegs underneath. Next, for the wings, you see the two pegs that are here. those are where the wings will peg into. What I do first is, though, I take the wing and I click it once or twice and then snap it into place. I will be honest, these connectors are not the strongest connectors I've ever seen, but they do work. So just as long as you don't futz with them too much, you should be good to go. And lastly, we have the Appendix, and that is supposed to peg in right here between the two front shoulder blades. Now you might be wondering, where has the Appendix been this whole time, or the Super Stone? It's been in a baggie. It's been in a little baggie because I have not been able to find out where it's stored on either of the dragons in their individual dragon modes. And no, it's not in the directions. I looked multiple times. I even went so far as to ask my wife to make sure that I wasn't missing something, and yeah, it's not there. Oh well, the integration mode, according to the directions, which I'm dubbing Super Dragon or Ultra Dragon, is very cool. We have a two-headed dragon that is hot and cold and really feels like something out of My Hero Academia. Overall, it's an excellent mode that doesn't stand up all that well. It has issues standing up, but who cares? It's very cool, it's big, it fits well on a shelf, and it's just nice to look at. I like it. I really do. Now, how big is it, you might ask? When compared to a deluxe class transformer, it's real big. And yes, Sunstreaker can ride said double dragon. Now, how about its final mode, aka its warrior mode? Well, let's go ahead and get into it. To start off with, remove the Appendix, then come to the bottom and remove the double legs. Come to the back, remove the tail, and for now, we're just going to remove the wings because it just makes everything easier. Now, first off, take the legs, straighten them out, and stand the figure up. Come to the front of the dragons and fold up the arms, like so. Then flip them out of the way, like that. Grab the heads and split them apart, and then turn them a little bit, and then fold the arms all the way down, the dragon heads all the way down. Then come to the mouths and grab the jaws and break the jaws to flip out fists, like that. And do that on both areas. Now that we've got most of the robot mode together, split the figure in half and come into these little doors inside and flip out the halves of the head for the combined mode. And yes, there is definitely a symmetrical docking feel going on here. And smush them together. Then take the legs that we had combined before, split them apart, and fold them up exactly like the front legs are, and they will peg into these pegs in the back, like so. So we got these nifty shoulder pads, and then we can add the wings back to their rightful spots by flipping the connectors all the way down and just pegging them in the back. Then finally coming to the chest area and unpegging this flap, fold it all the way down to give it a front skirt. Then we can take the Appendix, flip it around, got that double head going there, and snap it into place, and we're done. I forgot one little bit. Flip up the dragon feet to form some bigger heels. Getting this figure into robot mode, aka warrior mode, is pretty darn easy, but I cannot argue with the look. This figure and this set looks amazing. It just looks so good. It's cohesive. If Shoto Todoroki was a giant robot, I think this would be his giant robot. It's absolutely fantastic. Okay, give it a mirror flip and then you'd end up with Shoto Todoroki. I love it. I love it. I absolutely love it. I don't like the fact that there's so much parts forming going on. But what are you going to do? I mean, seriously, what are you going to do? Given the whole aesthetic of the figure, there's not many alternatives I can think of off the top of my head. The head sculpt is fantastic and definitely looks like a dragon opening its mouth with the face inside. I'm not thrilled that the face is completely black. I would have liked it to have been I don't know, maybe just a little bit lighter, but the blue eyes work really well, and overall the aesthetic is good. Dragonus' Poseability is on the Super Sentai side a bit here. The wings on the back, while they look awesome, are very hard to pose, and when you do move them, they have a tendency to just unpeg way too easily, but they go right back on. Head does not move at all. Shoulders have a swivel at the shoulder, and there is some articulation at a ratcheting swivel just above where you would think the elbow would be. There is some curling that can happen with the arm, and there is some movement, but it feels very disjointed and really hard to get things into place where you would want them. Hips are on ratchets, but they are a little bit wobbly. They've got a little bit too much give to them, in my opinion. Ratchet in and out, ratcheting thigh swivel, ratcheting knee that also bends forward because, ouch, it's because of the transformation. No foot articulation, so you can get poses, but there's no ankle articulation and no waist swivel because of the transformation and the symmetrical docking nature. Weapon-wise, the two tails. You have the two tails. Each tail can be wielded individually as kind of whip swords or flexible swords, so you do have some sword movement there. You have to be careful when posing it, though, with the swords, because if the swords are just left down like this and the wings are back, the figure has a tendency to fall over. It's not doing it now, but it was earlier. When you move the wings into the forward position like Batman, and you go to pose, the wings get in the way, and I have had multiple times where I'll go to pose the arms and the wings just fall off, or there's a lot of tension in the back, on the back legs, and the back legs will either pop out of place or just fall off altogether. So posability is a challenge. The first of the tail weapons is called the Hydra Pike. You take red, and you slightly put it in a hand, and then you take the blue tail, and you put it on the bottom of the hand, and there we go. Hydra Pike. Big tail action. Okay, that works. It's fine. Let's move on to the next one. Now, there is a combined weapon that you can do with Dragonus and Whitehorn's White Horn. Though it does require one little bit of accessory. So you plug in a set of tails into the handle accessory, and then the white horn will peg into the middle, and it becomes a trident. To do that, you move the ball joints all the way out, and you can see divots in the ball joints. That's where the end, or the handle, for the white horn goes, and then you just straighten out that, and it sits in here real loose. So you just want to fold the bits in a little bit and just kind of line things up, and you end up with one goofy trident. That's real stupid. Other than the fact that it looks absolutely stupid, the other thing is it's really heavy. The combined mode like this is exceptionally heavy. And if you move the wing out of the way, watch this. I'm going to move the arm out a little bit, and you see the whole figure just leans forward. Thankfully, the ratchets are tight enough that it can stand up. But, I mean, it's not worth it. It's just not worth it. For size comparisons, here is a deluxe class figure, a leader class figure, and a commander class figure. As you can see, it scales somewhere between leader and commander. And as you can see here, Dragonus towers over the other four. I mean, towers over them. Now, according to the Tobot wiki, these six, technically, figures are all supposed to combine into some ultimate form. The show is only like 20 episodes in, and at the time, only The T-Rex, Tyrannus, and Kongor are there as the mecha, and Kongor just got his robot mode, like just a few episodes ago. So we haven't even seen Whitehorn, Rector, or Dragon Boy up here at all. So who knows when that's going to happen? Maybe in another couple of months. Overall, this whole set is great. All of these figures are strong on their own, but together, I'm so glad I have all of them. They look great on the shelf. They are tons of fun to transform. I think DRAGONIUS is a little bit of a step back in terms of fun factor compared to the other four, simply because once you do get it into one of its other modes, it has a tendency, or bits have a tendency to fall off pretty easily. In the dragon modes, those extra, well, not extra legs, one of the front legs on each figure falls off, the wings pop off easily. In the combined modes, the wings pop off easily, and there's a little bit of stability issue in the integrated dragon mode and in the warrior mode. I can't argue with the looks, though. They all look absolutely fantastic. And I would recommend them even though they all have small, minor, little annoyances. So folks, head down to the link in the description on this video to pick this figure, or this setup, or all these figures up over at CFR.com. Thank you so much for watching. I have been Baltmatrix, and I'll catch you all next time.